California is planning significant changes to the licensing process for LMFTs, LPCCs, and LCSWs. Here's what you need to know. First, the 6-year rule, which is actually a couple of separate but linked rules, would become a 7-year rule. As it is right now, when you sign up with the BBS for an associate registration, that registration is good for up to 6 years. You can, if you need, after that 6 years is up, sign up for what's called a subsequent registration. And the only thing that changes is that under a subsequent registration, you cannot work in a private practice setting. Connected to that, when you apply for clinical exam eligibility at the end of your 3,000 hours of experience, the BBS will count backwards up to 6 years from your application date to determine what amount of supervised experience you gathered in that time. Under the current proposal, both of those 6-year rules would become 7-year rules instead. Probably the easiest thing to explain here, they're planning on changing the MFT licensing process to use the National MFT exam instead of the California MFT clinical exam. It's a national exam instead of a state-based one. It should improve portability somewhat, although the national exam in and of itself doesn't get you any additional practice privileges. We've got a whole separate video on that topic. And then lastly, they're planning changes on when you would exactly take the different exams for licensure. As it is right now, you have to at least attempt the law and ethics exam in your first year of associate registration. That specific requirement as far as the timing of the law and ethics exam would go away. More importantly, under the proposed changes, you would be able to take your clinical exam earlier in the process. So what's proposed right now is that you would be able to take your clinical exam for licensure once you have completed 850 clinical hours of supervised experience. That's not total supervised hours, that is specifically clinical hours, so client contact. You would still need to, of course, complete the entirety of your supervised experience requirement for licensure. The requirements themselves, about 3,000 hours of experience, your law and ethics exam, a clinical exam, and of course the degree required for licensure, those requirements don't change. These are just adjustments to the timing of when you would take your exam. You should bear in mind that these are all, at this point, legislative and regulatory proposals. While the BBS has supported advancing these proposals, they involve multiple steps and stages. They involve a lot of procedural work to get done. So even if everything goes smoothly and according to plan, these are not going to be implemented right away, and they're not going to be implemented all at once. We would be looking at implementation in 2026, 2027, 2028 for different components here. We'll keep you updated on our website, highpass.com.